All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about volume today. We just finished talking about surface area. Surface area is the area of the surface around the outside of a shape. Volume is a measurement of the amount of space inside of a solid figure. So we're looking at how much space inside, so how much it can hold. So if we think about our units, we started off using units, then we went to units squared for area. So if you think about measuring like how much wrapping paper you need to wrap something up, the space of the outside, you need little squares to do it. Well, if you think about trying to fill up a box with two-dimensional squares, they don't have any depth to them. You can't do it. So instead, if you're thinking about filling up like a box, you would need cubes to do that. So we're gonna move to measuring things in cubic units or units cubed. So it'll be inches cubed or feet cubed, and just what that means is a little like 1 by 1 by 1 cube of that size. So anytime we're measuring volume, we're going to be dealing with cubic units. Now, this is the approach for volume. It's pretty straightforward, pretty handy. Definitely want this to be in your notes. Okay. So the volume of any prism or cylinder, okay, I got prisms here, but this applies to cylinder too, is the base of the area of the base. Remember, the big B is the area of the base. And what we use to find the area of the base will depend on what shape it is, right? If it's a square, we'll use that formula. If it's a triangle, we'll use that. If it's a circle, we'll use that. But find the area of the base and just multiply that by the height. Okay? These tend to be easier than the surface area problems. Okay, so if we review, if it's a square, rectangular, parallelogram, base times height is how we find the area of the base. If it's a triangle, we do base times height divided by 2. If it's a circle, okay, I didn't write that one down, but if it's a circle, remember circle is pi r squared. Okay, so I'll add that to our list. Okay, now these are all the types of prisms and cylinders we're going to look at. Technically, you could do others. You could have like a trapezoidal prism where the bottom is a trapezoid. You just find the area of that trapezoid and multiply by the height. So as long as you can find the area of the base, you can find the volume of the prism. We're not going to worry too much about those ones. Okay, let's start with a rectangular prism. Okay, so if I look at the base, it doesn't really matter what I consider the base. I'll just consider what it's sitting on here because that qualifies, right? We have an identical rectangle at the top as you do at the bottom. Right? You could consider the front and back. They also have that relationship to be the bases or the sides. Doesn't matter. Okay, but let's consider the bottom. So the area of the bottom, which is 6 times 4, is 24. Okay? So I just multiply the area of that base times the height. The height goes in the opposite dimension. Okay, it goes between the bases. Okay, so straight up from the base, which is 7. So 24 times 7 is 168 centimeters cubed. Okay, now I'm dealing with, remember, cubic units. So centimeters cubed is my volume. All right, so if you notice, what I did to get that answer is I just multiplied this times this and then multiplied by that. But you might also remember that order doesn't matter with multiplication. So when you have a rectangular prism, all you end up doing is multiplying the 3 dimensions together, which is really easy. Okay, just like with a rectangle, you multiply the 2 dimensions to get the area. With a rectangular prism, you multiply the 3 dimensions to get the volume. Okay, so if I look at this rectangular prism, I can use that shortcut. It doesn't matter what I consider the base. I'm just going to be taking these 3 dimensions and multiplying them together. Okay, so 27 times 40 times 56. If I multiply all those together, let's see what I get. I get 60,480. Okay, and these are measured in feet, so this is in cubic feet or feet cubed. Okay, and with a rectangular prism, it's just that easy. Okay, so this one says a box of milk powder has a length of 12 centimeters, a width of 6, and a height of 7. Find the volume of milk powder. Okay, So again, it doesn't even matter which is the base. I have my 3 dimensions. If I want the volume, I can just multiply them all together. 12 times 6 times 7. And that will give me 504. 504 centimeters cubed. Okay. All right. Why don't you take a second and figure out this one on your own? Then you can resume the video and see if you're right. All right, welcome back. If you multiply these three numbers, 21 times 35 times 38, you should get 27,930. This would be in inches cubed. That is the volume. All right, well, let's start looking at some slightly more complicated shapes. It's not too bad. But here we have a triangular prism. Okay. Remember, the base is not necessarily just the thing that's on that it's sitting on. Right? This rectangle does not have an identical rectangle across from it. So this is not the base. Okay, the base is the triangle. There's a triangle here, and it's like it got extended into the third dimension, and you got an identical triangle here. Okay, so base, base, and then this is the height between them. Okay, so if I want to find the area of the base, I got to remember how to find the area of a triangle. Okay, that's 4 times 2 divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2, which gives me 4. Okay, so this is 4 square inches, or centimeters, 4 centimeters squared. Okay. Then I just multiply that by the height. So 4 times 13 gives me 56 centimeters cubed. Now that I'm in volume, it's in centimeters cubed. Okay. All right. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, so again, it's a triangular prism. The bases are triangles. So I want to find the area of the triangle, which is 6 times 5 divided by 2. Gives me 15. Multiply that by the length it was extended, the height of the prism. 15 times 9 is 135 centimeters cubed. Okay. All right. Why don't you try these two? Okay. See if I can get these both on the screen here. All right, so there you go. So this one is 10 by 15 by 19. Here we got 4 by 2 by 6. Okay, so pause the video here, see if you can find the dimensions of those, or the volume of those, and then pause it and see what you got. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you got 1,425 meters cubed for the first one and 24 inches cubed for the second. Okay, so looking at where those come from. The base is a triangle, so 15 times 10 divided by 2 is 75. That's the area of this triangle. Multiply that area by 19, and that's what you get. Okay, here we got 4 times 2 divided by 2 is 4. Multiply that by the height, which is 6, gives you 24. It's always just the area of the base times the height. All right. Let's take a look at some cylinders. Cylinders is really the same thing. The numbers aren't going to look quite as nice because we're using pi here to find the area of the base, but that's it. Okay, it's always just the area of the base times the height. So here, the bases are going to be circles. Okay, so to find the area of the circle, we take the radius, which is 4. We're going to square it, get 16, and multiply that by pi. Okay, so 16 times 3.14 is 50.24. All right, there's the area of the circle. Okay, I don't have to double it. Again, I'm not finding the surface area this time. Volume is just the area of the base times the height. So the area of the base is 50.24. Multiply that by the height, which is 15. And I get 753.6. It's in centimeters, so centimeters cubed is my volume. All right, let's try another one of those. Okay, so here I'm given the diameter, but that's fine. Just like I did before, if I want the area, I'm going to cut the diameter in half. Radius is 8. So 8 squared times 3.14 give me the area of the base. So 64 times 3.14, that's 200.96. Okay. Multiply the area of the base by the height. So times 21 gives me 4,220.16. It doesn't give me units, so I'm just going to say units cubed. 4,220.16 units cubed. Okay, with multiplying these three numbers together, our volumes can get pretty big pretty quick. All right, why don't you try this one, pause it, and then we'll come back and see how you did. All right, welcome back. Let's walk through this one together. Again, we're going to start by finding the area of the base, which is this circle. We're given the radius, so we're just going to square it, multiply it by pi, and that should give me 28.26. Okay, once I have that, I multiply that by the height of the prism, which is 8, and I get 226.08. Doesn't mention any units, so I'm just going to say units cubed. Okay, if it tells you what the units are, if it says it's inches or feet or meters, whatever, use that. If it doesn't, just say units. All right. I'm going to pause the video here and try this one. Okay, welcome back. Here we're given the diameter, so we got to cut in half to get the radius. Radius is 5, so 5 squared times 3.14. Give me the area of the circle. That's 78.5. Then I just multiply it by the base, or by the height, which is 6. And that will give me 471. So 471, here it tells me inches, so inches cubed. All right, that's all I got. Give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.